Yeah, no.
They're sus as a human
I
being.
usually
Like, they're
do not
evil.
play as baby characters.
Pure evil. I already put it in
my-
stream relevant, by the way. We're just gonna watch a couple videos off this playlist.
Is it Vati?
Of course, it's
Is that-
Vati.
Hell yeah.
So just to give some context, the guy we're watching, Vati Vidya, is the Souls Lord
He's the
guy.
dude.
And like
There's
I actually
one-
was telling you, it's like tradition for every streamer who plays this game to go back and watch his videos at the end.
There's one other dude I really appreciate for doing good lore videos, and that's Epic Name Bro, but he doesn't do them as often and hasn't. He kind of fell off that.
Ashen
he's more
Hollow,
for-
another good one for Souls Lore too.
Who's good for,
But
like,
Vati's that
Bloodborne
guy,
and
and he's also got a nice voice.
Yeah, and Vati is really, his stuff is just really well edited, so he's the one.
Hold on, really quick.
Shoutouts to him naming his fucking screen name after Zelda.
And if you're still here, this is $50. God damn, beer usually costs that much. I don't buy beer.
That's Australian.
It says a
dollars.
case.
Oh, okay.
That's
It's a case,
AUD, which is
How much is the
probably-
case?
A case is like a couple of them at least. It's like a whole thing of beer, and it's not just that thing you see in front of you.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much the exchange rate is, but I'm pretty sure it's less.
Like $20.
No, the Australian dollars got to be doing better. No way.
Is it?
No, anyways, we're not here to talk about.
Yeah, I don't know.
International exchange rates.
I don't know. I don't know exchange rates.
Hey, this picture was sent to me, bro. I'm gonna look at this. Australian family owned. Oh, okay, all right.
It's Australian for root beer.
That's interesting. This isn't root beer, bro. Oh,
I know,
well,
but I'm
it's ginger.
joking. I'm making the fucking what fucking brand is it that's their slogan? It's Australian for beer. Foster's, I think. Anyway,
Hold up.
Foster's Home?
no, I think it's
Hold on 1 second before we start this.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, honestly, it just was like probably like 4 or 5 lore videos, each of them like 6 minutes.
yeah.
And then we could do like some funny videos, I guess, too. I kind of
Yeah,
want to
this-
show him Giant Dad.
Oh, he needs to see Giant Dad. I was gonna say, thankfully, the ones he's done for like Dark Souls are pretty condensed. They're pretty bite sized. It's not the Armored Core fucking like 6 hour.
6
one
hours.
one
Well,
that
to be
he just
fair,
put up.
he has gone back and redone Dark Souls videos.
Yeah.
But we're
And
not
he's
going to
made
be
them in,
watching.
like,
We're
a
not going to be watching the new
playlist.
ones. We're going to be watching the older ones.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because the newer ones are like 20 minutes a piece, and
Yeah,
I figured Jan didn't want to sit around doing that. And the old ones are the ones I watched, so maybe I have
Yeah,
like a
same.
bit of nostalgia.
Well, I mean, I think it's also nice because most of the older ones are like by character, aren't they?
Yes, that's
Character by character,
exactly what
yeah.
we're going to be looking at. Is
So
just the
that's
character.
it's a good way to get into it, I think.
There we go.
Did my thing?
Oh, I just responded to you like right now, Hannah. I don't know if it's expensive because it's like depends on the economy, I guess, but it shouldn't cost more than regular soda. Oh, okay. Yeah, then I'm pretty sure they gotta sell this shit at a Cracker Barrel. There's no way. Wait, do they have Cracker Barrels in Australia?
Honestly, you know what, Jen, we could always go to freaking what do you call it? World Market and see if they have them.
That's true. That's very true, actually. All right, so where's the video? Did you put it again, Austin?
It's already
Dream relevant. Okay.
and it's going to link to a playlist, and we're only going to watch a couple videos on this playlist.
I don't know what the fuck a Cracker Barrel is. Well, that definitely answers the question.
I'm pretty sure Cracker Barrel is only American.
It's got to be American, yeah.
It's just an American.
All right, you're going to want to turn it up because it's quiet.
All right.
Also, the music.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn off the music right now.
It's a
All right.
family restaurant like an Applebee's or something.
Yeah, it's basically like that. It's just like it has a whole aesthetic of trying to look really old and timey. It's actually not that bad if you have it anywhere else than where we live.
We have like 3 stores here.
Well, tell him, bro. It's time. We need a Cracker Barrel in Australia.
Cracker Barrel is not that good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know that they need Cracker Barrel. I don't know if that's the cultural exchange we're giving them.
Okay. Maybe there's a few stores before the Cracker Barrel. Honestly,
Yeah, maybe
Just
maybe
a
some
couple
other
hundred.
just a couple. I think first you guys need a Whataburger, first and foremost, Whataburger, and then I don't know,
earlier today.
maybe a Stripes.
Fuck no, they don't eat stripes, bro.
Maybe a Bucky's.
Bucky's. You know what? I am okay with dealing the Bucky's to other countries. That's fine.
Hannah, do you know what a Bucky's is? Do one of you two want to explain what a Bucky's is? Bucky's is just ridiculous.
Bucky's is a wild thing. People from other places that have never seen it before are like kind of trip out. But the easiest way to explain it is imagine a gas station that's like a football field long with like a million lanes, and then the inside of the store is like 3 gas stations all together, but it's got food and deli and all kinds of snacks and camping supplies and all kinds of shenanigans in there, and then also maybe the biggest, cleanest restrooms you've ever seen.
They're getting paid.
A beaver.
And then they have a big beaver mascot, which is very hard to miss.
Honestly, the beaver goes fucking hard. I'm not gonna lie.
It does.
It's a sick mascot.
The fucking Castle Super Beast podcast just had a thing where Wooly came down to Texas and he went to Bucky's and he came back with the hat and the onesie. He was super impressed with Bucky's.
I have a friend who owns the Bucky's onesie.
I have an electric car. I don't even need a Bucky's. But wait, hold on. We just explained we got onesies there. That's onesies, and I'm pretty sure they sell the plushes, don't they?
Bucky's thing to stream. Show what the Bucky.
All right, hold on.
Bucky looks like.
Let's go to a good example of what the Bucky's are. Hold on.
It's a red and yellow logo, but maybe you just gotta see.
Oh, I accidentally put in a Buckus. That's not what we're looking for. Yeah. We're not looking for Buckus. Me and Buck. Who the fuck is Buckus? Welcome to Bucky's. All right, hold on.
You don't even know about Bucky's.
Exploring Bucky's for the first time. 24 minutes. Why do you need to show a video of 24
They're
minutes?
They're gonna show every fucking item in the
picture. Get a picture. What are you doing?
Every item in the fucking store.
This morning,
Here we go.
You're not showing us a dumbass video.
I know. We'll get in the middle.
Yeah.
This is the Bucky's experience.
It's
You didn't even show the beaver, dude.
Oh, we'll see him.
It's
Where they got fudge there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they have fudge and brownies and deli shit.
I'm glad they're literally wearing 10-gallon hats.
I've never seen that.
I've never seen them go all in on the hats like that. That's kind of crazy.
That's him.
To bring their hats.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's Bucky's.
But yeah, this place, honestly, you walk into it and you're like, this is hubris.
Yeah, it's American decadence at it, or Southern
really
decadence
is.
at its finest.
Like, this fucking establishment is an insult to God. They got brisket.
Oh my god.
They 100% told the employees, make sure you bring your hats today. Because no fucking Bucky's employee is
They're
wearing
all
a
fucking
10-gallon
super
hat.
hyped up. Look at that.
Hey, Kathy.
There's like maybe not many things more Texas than this nonsense.
Dude, okay, we gotta stop, dude.
Oh my god.
You know how obscene it is to scoop up meat with like a fucking ice cream? Like,
Yeah, with an
ladle?
ice cream.
It's him.
See, Bucky. But you gotta look up Bucky's onesie so you can show it to Hannah.
Yeah. I think I literally just saw like a. Hold on, we'll see it right now.
But yeah,
I don't
also
think they're gonna show off the onesie.
It's in a thumbnail.
Advertised, but like really big ass bathrooms with like 20 stalls each.
Yeah, it's kind of like a half
they're
a
also
truck stop
clean
too.
Yeah, it is also a truck stop. It's overkill. Is what it is.
They're not gonna show the one.
All right, wearing the Bucky's sports jacket is a little bit too much, I must say. I think we've gone too far. I think that's a little bit too far.
Every part of Bucky's is too far. Let's be real.
That's crazy.
The one
wait,
wasn't
hold
too
on.
far? Just the sports jacket?
Yeah, because like with the onesie you just wear at home, this dude is wearing that shit
Out
to the
public.
yeah, he's wearing it to the park. He's wearing it with the boys.
To the function.
To the fun. Yes.
No, that's me too, Hannah. I would not be able to stop munching.
Although the cheddar checks mix.
She doesn't want to interview anymore, bro. She's done. She's munching the fuck
I'm
on.
here with something, she said.
They gotta send Kathy, bring us a
Oh,
barbecue
that's a good one.
sandwich.
All right. Celebrating grandma's 80th. Goddamn. All right, let's see. Where the onesies? Here it is. That's the onesie.
Yeah, I have a friend who owns it.
That's crazy. How much is that?
I think it's like pretty pricey. It's not like it is not like $18 or something. It's like more.
Yeah, I believe
I could look it up. I think it's like I want to, off the dome. I just want to say 70, but I might.
Oh my god. That would not surprise me.
It's yeah.
Dude, this thumbnail is killing me. You see the shit? There's a Bucky's face next to like dollar signs. It's
Giant
crazy.
mug, dude.
How did my Texas friend never tell me about this? What the fuck? Dude, this is the place. I don't go to it often, but what I do, it's funny. I'm just like, there's no way.
You gotta know something about Americans. It's that there's so many of us that are just like, oh, you guys don't have that?
Crazy.
Just completely oblivious to other countries and hell, even other states.
The onesie on Amazon is $57.45.
Well, that's cheaper than I thought.
That is cheaper than I thought, but
Hannah, you're not even wrong. The Alamo is tiny compared to a Buc.
it's also way more boring. Like,
There's not a whole lot.
I've gone there twice, and I am a person who enjoys history, especially history of Texas, but it's not very fun. I'd rather go to the Riverwalk.
The surrounding area around the Alamo is more entertaining for sure.
All right, we got way off
as someone
track.
who also loves history.
All right. So now we're going to start these lore videos. I don't know how many we got, but let's start. Let's see. Let's go.
It's only going to be a couple.
And it's inevitable and natural for the world to return to dark.
Let me know if it's too loud.
The future is dark, but it was not always this way. Let's go back to where there was a flame. The hero has made it to the kiln, where the first flame was found, thrived, faded, and was kindled again. The hero descends to kill the god who kindled that flame. This god is a shell now, a husk. He's lost his kingdom, his knights, his wife, children, and friends. But even with nothing left, he sacrificed himself to keep the dark at bay. This is the story of a man who fought against the inevitable. In the beginning, there were two planes of existence.
Oh, this guy's going really fucking like comfy. I need to get my blanket.
Yeah,
I'm ready to
Turn
chill.
it up a little bit too.
Hold on.
Yeah, this dude's videos he does have like playlists where you can just chill and sleep.
Turn it
I've
up.
done
You did
it.
not turn it up.
Okay. There we go. All right, here we go. Get your Bucky's onesies out and a cold drink. Let's go in.
There was the above and the below. Above was grey, with dragons who had existed forever. Nothing changed, nothing progressed, and nothing lived or died. I think of the below as dark, although it probably was nothing of the sort. How can darkness exist without light? But that was about to change, because when the flame came, it created disparity. Now there was light and dark, and the light illuminated the creatures who were hiding. These creatures emerged to inspect the flame, and these were the ones who would become known as giants. For within the flame was great power, and 4 giants claimed this power. They claimed it, and it shaped them. Nito came to embody death. The Witch of Izalith represented life. Lord Gwyn stood for the light, and the pygmy kept his dark soul a secret. Gwyn decreed that the flame was more powerful than the grey existence up above, and the giants declared war on the dragons to claim the surface. Alas, the dragons were immortal, and many knights of Gwyn fell, but there was one dragon who betrayed his own. Seath the Scaleless, born without the stone scales of immortality, told the dragon's weakness to Gwyn. The stone scales were the secret to their immortality, and the lightning was their weakness. So Gwyn and his knights fashioned bolts of lightning to peel apart their stone scales. Nito unleashed disease on their exposed flesh, and the Witch of Izalith and her followers used fire sorceries to burn their homes, the arch trees, to ash. And the dragons were no more. And so, the Age of Fire was born, and the giants began their own story. But since this is a story about light, it is also a story about dark. For it is inevitable that one day the flame will fade, and only dark will remain. Seath was granted 3 rewards. He received a piece of Gwyn's Lord Soul, a dukedom in Gwyn's kingdom, and his own research facility to discover immortality, something he never would have had with the...
Oh, did you guys hear that?
Yeah, that actually shook my ass a little bit.
Holy shit.
No, I couldn't hear her on the mic though. So don't worry.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's like thundering and raining like crazy outside
Yeah.
right now.
Dragons around. The Age of Fire had changed the shape of the world. Gwyn's kingdom grew during the Age of Fire, and the lands outside assumedly looked to Lordran as their capital city. Anor Londo was built close to the sun, and eventually smaller towns and cities grew to surround it. The giants became the royalty and the gods, and humanity spread, worshipping those more powerful than them. Gwyn himself had a wife whose name is not known, and by her he had 3 children. His firstborn was the god of war, who formed the Warriors of Sunlight. However, he lost the Annals, which were historical records. Gwyn decreed that his son would share the same fate, and all record of the firstborn was stripped from the land. Gwyn's second-born, Guinevere, was well loved, with her own statues and covenant the Princess Guard. The third of birth was Gwyndolin, who was born frail and deformed. He was raised as a daughter since he was proficient at moonlight magic, which is considered a female trait. His existence was hidden, and his covenant, the Blade of the Dark Moons, hunt down sinners and protect the illusion of power in Anor Londo. For hundreds of years the Lords prospered, but everything ends. Locked away in his archives, Seath is desperately searching for the secret to immortality. The Six-Eyed Channelers read for him and search the world for test subjects. These test subjects are locked away in crystal golems for transportation back to the archives, where they become the subject of his experiments. At the base of the prison, there are Pasakas, twisted monsters created from captured maidens. If you listen carefully, you can hear them crying. At some point, the knowledge in the archives sends Seath mad. It's impossible to know whether he was insane before or after his experiments on the maidens, but one way or another, Gwyn turns a blind eye to the happenings in the archives. Perhaps it was this that led to the rebellion against the gods. In the war against the dragons, Lord Gwyn had a friend and compatriot named Havel the Rock, who was the sworn enemy of magic and Seath the Scaleless. After the war, Gwyn granted Seath dukedom and a part of his own soul. Perhaps Havel was bitter at Gwyn's preference for Seath, since he started to collect items capable of killing the gods. Hidden in his basement in Anor Londo, there is an occult club. Items of the occult can kill the gods and are rightly feared. Havel was also a bishop of the church, who knew the whereabouts of the Dark Ember. Lastly, the effigy shield states that there was once an ill-fated plot to destroy the gods. Ill-fated because the attempt failed. Among the royalty, there are rumours of a hero locked away in a stone cell by a dear friend. They say he was locked away for his own good, which led many to believe that the man inside had gone hollow. Havel helped Gwyn win his throne, but met with the fate of the undead and was kept in a cell so he could not harm others. That's what they would have you believe. But what if Gwyn learnt of Havel's plan to kill the gods? Perhaps Havel was not hollow when he was locked away. Perhaps he was locked away for the good of the realm, and left to hollow in the middle of an area overrun by hollows. Gwyn would have locked his friend away for the greater good, but was it the right thing to do? This marks the peak of the Age of Fire, and the darkness is looming. Soon Gwyn will need all the friends he can get.
Why that flashbang? Why was that necessary?
Not sure. Alright, so it should have linked to a playlist. I'm pretty sure it's just the next video on the playlist, which is going to be the next one, or Gwyn. Yep.
Gwyn and the Dark, Part 2.
Yep.
Okay.
Soon, I will be consumed by them, by the dark.
The dark is in every human.
Thou art strong, human. Surely
My king.
mankind are more than pure
These are
dark.
cut lines.
But do humans have light and dark within them? Even in his last moments, Artorius thought so.
I beg of thee, the spread of the abyss must be stopped.
The furtive pygmy was the first human.
His voice is lighter than I thought. Also, you were saying that's cut lines, right?
Yes, the lines that were being spoken are cut lines.
Why they cut it? They just not
They
fit.
just decided they didn't want him to have a voice.
Yeah, they just thought it didn't fit.
Yeah, then though I guess the idea is too is that the Artorius that we're facing has gone mad. He's been corrupted by the dark.
Ah, okay.
With the abyss.
Yeah, that wouldn't make
They're gonna
sense if he had a voice saying that.
Yeah, these games have a lot of cut content, and a lot of it is pretty interesting.
It claimed the dark soul and waited for the fire to subside. For while the other souls grew weaker, the dark soul grew stronger. The Lord Souls of light and dark seemed to be in counterbalance to one another. While Gwyn fathered the Age of Fire and set up his kingdom, the pygmy shattered the dark soul and fathered humanity. This mysterious black sprite was the powerful life force of humans, driving them to love, hate, create, and destroy. The most pure-hearted humans were able to create more humanity within themselves. The dark soul is unique in that it can grow and spread through humans. By the time the furtive pygmy was killed, it was already too late. The dark soul had already been split, and it continued to split and grow like a disease.
Yeah.
So, like, to explain what he's kind of saying too. So the dark soul is a little thing. So we never get to see the true pygmy, which is, I mean, we met all the other ones, right? We kind of we met what the witch turned into. We met Gwyn at the end. We met Nito, but the furtive pygmy, it basically, it was the dark soul. So and they used that to create humanity.
Yeah.
Now that means it just hid away in a cave during the Age of Fire, but the Age of Fire, of course, was the opposite of dark. So when the Age of Fire began to diminish, the Age of Dark rose. And every single human in existence, because remember, the lords themselves, they're not humans. They're considered giants, or some people call them lords, but they are like higher beings, like gods and such. You yourself are a human.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, a pygmy is, it's an older term for like a small person. In this case, because of the way that it's mentioned alongside the lords, it's implied that the furtive pygmy is our ancestor, where humans came from.
Mm-hmm, yes. And like a lot of the people you meet are human as well. Like the NPCs you talk to are typically humans. But the people we are fighting are not. They're either dragons or the drakes that descended from the dragons. He'll go more into that later. But I just wanted to make that clear. Like, we're all descended from the furtive pygmy, and every human has dark. And they're also saying every human has light. All right, go ahead and continue.
These. And as the darkness grew, the flames did fade, and Gwyn's kingdom began to fall. With the fading flame came the rising dark, and those who would see it grow stronger. The dragons and the giants were not the only things in the Age of Ancients. From the stone dragons came drakes, hydras, and primordial serpents. You have to wonder at how much influence the serpents have had, because all throughout the ages, the serpents have always achieved their desires at the expense of others. We know of one serpent, Karth, who hides in the shadows to see the shadows grow. It was the manipulations of such a serpent that led to an upturned grave, and the doom of Ulasil.
Believe it or not, Ulasil has brought the abyss upon itself, fooled by that toothy serpent. They upturned the grave of primeval man, and incited his ornery wrath. What could they have been thinking?
Manus, the father of the abyss, primeval human and once the furtive pygmy, unleashed the wrath of the dark upon Ulasil, corrupting and transforming its denizens into monsters.
Knight Artorius came to stop this, but such a hero has nary a murmur of dark. Without doubt he will be swallowed by the abyss, overcome by its utter blackness. Indeed, the abyss may be unstoppable.
Can we pause?
And Artorius was slain, but he...
Yeah.
I got a question. Because I didn't see as I was asleep. What ending did he get?
We went with kindling the flame.
You linked to the fire? Okay.
Yeah, and the ending, we're going to watch another video that kind of explains which ending is good or not.
Yeah, okay.
But we also, I don't know if you caught there, Jan, he's saying that Manus is basically, so you didn't meet that serpent, right? But the implication in the in-game is that the serpents have actually been manipulating the world for like a long time in secret. They don't have a lot of power, but what they can do is manipulate people and get them to do things, you know? Yeah. Now, you didn't meet that specific serpent in the dark in your playthrough. You actually have to do like a lot of complicated stuff to meet him. So doing it on your first run is pretty hard.
Yeah.
But you did meet the other serpent, his counterpart, on the surface. Obviously, we saw him a couple times, but we didn't really get into his story.
The big
and
dude?
What they're saying here is that basically the furtive pygmy died in this cave. You saw where it had like the empty grave.
Yeah.
So his body was here, and the serpent, they basically desecrated it, and that's what created Manus. which it became the abyss. The abyss is not the same as dark. Dark is a neutral power. The flame itself is their neutral powers. It's just when people abuse it twists them into something else. Just like how the flame became the chaos flame from the Witch of Islip. So that's what spawned all the demons and the dangerous fire, right? And then the dark spawned the abyss, which is like what Manus was using, So since the Spirit of Pygmies' grave was desecrated, he morphed and twisted into Manus himself.
Yeah, I'm under the impression that the dark is a neutral state of like the world, and fire is the artificial thing that's it's prolonging the world basically. But it's kind of like entropy, like the fucking heat death of the universe kind of analogy going on. But anyway, that's
and the Age of Fire, like I said, it created a disparity. Before that, the things that were like hiding in the caves, it was nothing. They were essentially nothing. And above, where the dragons lived, nothing changed. Like the world didn't change. Everything was set in stone. Yeah. Everything was immortal.
And gray.
The world itself was gray. So when the flame did create beauty and life essentially, but it also created a disparity to where things could live, things could die.
Yeah, that's the important thing. Is like things can live, but they also have to die.
Okay.
I see. At least I got more explanation from this fucker.
Yes.
The hero from a time distant yet near killed the primeval human in his name and
this bullshit 5 attack move.
But Karth simply moved on to his next target. Gwyn split his own soul and handed it to the 4 kings who ruled over New Londo. It was a reward for their foresight, but the kings only wanted more power.
Long ago, the 4 kings were powerful men. Only their hearts were weak. When an evil serpent dangled the art of life drain before them, they were unable to resist and became pawns of evil.
Gwyn had already seen what happened in Ulasil. The spread of the abyss had to be contained wherever it was found. He flooded New Londo in an attempt to seal the darkness and the kings. It was around this time that the other gods started to panic. The goddesses Fina and Velka had already been forcibly exiled by Seath, and Gwyn's own daughter Guinevere was to follow. She fled with the flame god, Flan, and abandoned her father. Meanwhile, the Witch of Izalith was working on a plan. She was attempting to duplicate the first flame using her own magic and her Lord Soul. Perhaps this could fight off the gathering dark. But this plan did not work. In fact, it backfired, engulfing the witch, her sisters, and the city of Izalith. Her soul of life became twisted, creating malformed, demonic, chaotic life. And the world saw its first demons.
Dummy.
The Silver Knights of Gwyn still remained from the war against the dragons, and they were ordered to fight against the Chaos Demons. Despite the bravery of the knights, they were repelled by the bed of chaos. The Silver Knights retreated to Gwyn with armor blackened and charred from their journey to Izalith. They had failed. Gwyn's downfall is absolute. He's lost his kingdom, his knights, his wife, children, and friends. For the stronger the light, the thicker the shadows fall. There are no happy endings in Lordran. Even if you do no wrong, tragedy finds you. Maybe you're searching for the light in a dark place. Maybe you're fighting to keep your sister alive. Whether you're adventuring for the sake of adventure, or risking your life for your lord, it will do no good. But despite futility, we do these things anyway. By fighting against the inevitable, we carve meaning from meaninglessness.
Mm-hmm.
Gwyn travels to the kiln with his remaining knights, and sacrifices himself as fuel for the first flame, just so it can burn a little longer for the living. The dark will eventually overcome the fading flame, but not without a fight.
The curse of the undead originates when Gwyn links the flame, granting some humans eternal life until they lose their humanity.
So Gwyn links the flame, which is what we did at the end, by the way.
Yeah,
we did it again.
You have to burn up your Lord's soul in order to keep the fire
Yes,
going.
he's quite literally burning his soul, and it gives that's why everyone is kind of like immortal. Like you're immortal But it doesn't matter because people, I mean, eventually they just go mad from it.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Like, honestly, immortality would drive people mad, like, eventually.
Yeah.
You lose your purpose, you lose, your sight of yourself, and then what are you left with?
So then when you kill someone when they go mad, they just stay dead?
Yeah, they lose. Basically, it's like an in-game like mechanic and like lore explanation for the player's willingness to continue like trying. As long as you don't give up, you can keep fighting.
It is entirely tied to your will.
Yeah.
You will, and once you go mad, you essentially lose your will.
Yeah.
Which is a similar thing, basically. Basically, you have no will, you go mad, and then when someone kills you, you will die.
Yeah. It's like, and it's like explicitly like to the game, to the player, the people who you don't really get a bad ending, but the people who give up and stop playing because it was too tough. Yeah, those people win Hollow.
Yep. I love when the game can like tie into that. All right. Go ahead. We're almost done with this one, and then we'll swap over to another one.
All I can say is, could not be me.
Hey, you didn't go Hollow. 424 deaths.
How long did it take him to beat Beta Chaos?
It took like probably about like 13 runs, something like that.
It wasn't too bad. Well, I think I did it in the wrong order, and the fucking holes in the floor like made it impossible for me, and it took me forever to finally do it. It was so annoying. Anyway, go ahead.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have taken longer if Austin didn't tell me what to do.
Yeah, it's a really goofy fight. That shit's a dumb gimmick, but it's whatever.
It's not easy to find the sun in Lord.
Oh, bro got a different mic.
And when you do see it, who's to say it's
real? Turn it up a little bit.
The age of fire is ending, and the world is already dark. Logan believes that there are no gods, no transcendence, only power. To become a god is simply to find that power. The lords found their powers amongst the first flame and proclaimed themselves to be gods. But as the flame fades, the lords must rely on illusions instead of power, until new fuel for the flame is found. As Gwyn burns in his tomb, Gwendolyn and Frampt search desperately for someone to replace him, to maintain their age of light a little longer.
Pause real quick.
Solaire reminds me of the legend of Icarus.
Okay, so Frampt is the other serpent, okay? So that's the one you saw on the surface. So him and Gwendolyn are basically trying to extend the Age of Fire. They're trying to keep this image up. That's why, remember, when we killed the fake goddess, everything got dark, because the illusion was shattered. So there's the other serpent down below that is trying to push the dark. And then there's Frampt above who's trying to extend the Age of Fire. Okay.
I'm trying to see. Well, he explained that in the Solaire story. What does this motherfucker have to do with that yet? But I guess we'll find out.
Yep.
Icarus is granted wings and uses them to chase the sun, but he flies too close and falls to his death. Solaire has limitless ambition and strives to obtain the sun as well, but he too runs the risk of flying too close. It's hard to find the sun in Lordran, and the world is already dark. Perhaps Solaire is looking for a new light. There is a prophecy that comes from Solaire's homeland in Astora, a prophecy that sheds light on Solaire's quest.
There is an old saying in my family, "Thou who art undead art chosen. In thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know."
My king.
To fulfill the prophecy, you must be two things. You must be undead, and you must escape the asylum. Oscar became undead, and travelled to the asylum to become a part of the prophecy. You carry out his legacy. But Oscar was not the only one trying to become a part of the prophecy. Solaire also escaped the asylum.
The way I see it, our fates appear to be intertwined, both undead, both imprisoned in the asylum, and now we both end up here, in a land brimming with hollows. Could that really be mere chance? I hardly think so. I became
I didn't notice.
undead to pursue this.
Solaire's quest meant so much that he chose.
I didn't notice the first time that he was also one of us, like in the asylum.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
That's like I said, most of the NPCs you meet are human. There's like very few that are like corrupted gods. Like, okay, so the Spider Girl and like Spider Girl is technically a giant that has been corrupted by the flame.
She's related to the witches of Izalith.
Witches of Izalith, yes, they're sisters, but they've been corrupted by the Chaos Flame, which is like what they said last video. Remember that she was trying to recreate the first flame, which is the magic source that they grew from.
But
she's trying to recreate it, but she fucked up and made the Chaos Flame.
Made a Chaos
created
Flame.
evil.
Yeah. It's basically evil.
And so a lot of people were corrupted, such as the two sisters. And obviously the Bed of Chaos, which is considered to be the Witch of Izalith herself.
And the Ceaseless Discharge, which was that big fucked up lava creature. They're all like fucked up abominations that came from the chaos magic. They tried to play God and it didn't work, basically.
Yes.
To become undead to fit the prophecy. So if you
My
believe
boy.
you are the chosen undead, then you and Solaire are on the same path, and your meeting was not chance, but fate. You can choose to believe that everything in your past led you here. But who was Solaire before he became undead and met you? Gwyn, Lord of Sunlight, had 3 children. One was named Guinevere, who fled her father and Anolondo as the flame continued to fade. Another was Gwyndolin, born of the moon and raised as a daughter. Master of illusion, he maintains power in Anolondo through an illusion of his sister and a fake son. The identity of the 3rd child is a mystery. All we know is that he was a god of war, but his foolishness led to the loss of something invaluable, and he had his god status rescinded. Statues were destroyed, and there are places where it is clear that there have been obvious efforts to remove all trace of him ever existing. But in a land far from Anolondo, near an altar dedicated to sunlight, there is one statue that remains. It's the statue of a woman holding a small child, wielding a sunlight straight sword.
Is that him? Oh shit.
Keep listening.
Solaire never talks of the past, only of the future, only of finding his son. If he is the son of Gwyn, then he has fallen out of his father's graces. But who is Gwyn to take his powers away? Solaire would have lost his status, and nothing more. Even though his equipment has no special powers, he travels through Lordran with little trouble, reaching Anolondo, Demon's Ruins, and Lost Izalith before you. It is said that the god of war still watches over his warriors. Solaire crosses between worlds to help you take down your foes. In the end, it doesn't matter if Solaire is the son of Gwyn. To the world, he's simply a friendly man who helps his comrades when they are in need. He is a man who gave everything he had to find something.
Wait, why is he gold in other places besides the last area?
Oh, you can summon him.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you can summon him for a couple bosses.
Sick. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, that's why so many people love him. Because he helps.
Yeah,
out a bunch.
like when you're pause it real quick. When you're like a little baby man, if you're a little baby man and Dark Souls 1 is your first game, and you're fucking struggling because it's like the first one in the franchise that was popularized, right? Because Demon Souls wasn't as popular. And you're fucking struggling with this fucking game because no other game like this existed yet. But Solaire is there to fucking help you out. And he's also one of the few nice people you meet who talks to you very politely. People love him, talking about joyful cooperation, you know.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the memes from the Souls community are born from Solaire.
Like the sun thing?
Yes,
Praise
Jolly
the
Cooperation
sun.
is one of them. The other one is gross incandescence.
Yeah, he says that.
And of course, yeah, Praise the Sun.
That's the one.
The Sun Bros.
Yeah, that's like the most iconic one.
His hope turns to despair, and his despair turns to madness.
So we avoided this, luckily.
Good.
Finally, I have.
What's up, Domenico?
I am the sun. I've done it. I have. Yes, I did. I did. Oh.
I swear I thought he had more groans coming. That's what I remember from the first time we watched the video.
It is very funny, but it's very interesting to hear. You can hear like in the third groan is like a little bit of pain, which I assume is from being taken over by the sunlight maggot.
The maggot, yeah.
Also, Minika, we're watching Dark Souls lore videos right now. We're on the Solaire one. I'm not sure if you've seen these yet.
My sun, it's setting. It's dark. So dark.
The sun is setting.
Solaire, a man of indomitable will, loses his mind to a creature that looks like the sun, and dies to your blade. Or does he? Time in Lordran is convoluted, and one undead may take a different path. A path that lets Solaire persist a little longer.
Oh, bro, whiffed.
Yeah. You can understand why we're yelling at you to kill these guys, because
you gotta
one
go.
way and you're just locked out of it and he gets taken over.
What fucking weapon is this? I don't even recognize this one.
Is it scimitar?
A path that takes you both to the kiln of the first flame, where Solaire can fight for his son.
Fuck him up, Solaire.
Oh, that's when you parry him.
It makes me uncomfortable how fast these moves hit. I don't know
Yeah,
such
with
a
the-
life.
The player character, yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, you did like 700 damage to win every hit, so
Yeah, that's true.
there's a trade-off. But this is kind of basically why I had you finish with Solaire, because there is the implications, at least in this game, that he may be the son of Gwyn, trying to search for meaning throughout Lordran. Now there's, of course, it is a trilogy, and despite what some people believe, the three do connect quite a lot. There are implications of another character that may be the son, and maybe that Solaire is like descended from him. But I mean, we'll see that in 13 years when we get to Dark Souls 3.
Wait, is Dark Souls 3 in the list?
Nope.
Oh.
So I said 13 years on the next list.
With Gwyn defeated, Solaire can light a flame of his own and return sunlight to the world. For the fire within Solaire will burn the brightest of all.
this is the ending that we chose. That's just a player character wearing Solaire's armor. A little bit of the headcanon-y.
Yeah, this is a little bit of embellishment in the storytelling. His older videos are like that. His newer ones are a lot more like stringent on like canon. But yeah.
Well, but still, most of the stuff said in this, that was just like his neat idea of like, well, if he's there for you in the end, technically, if this was like a modern game, you would have the option to have Solaire link the flame, 100%. It makes sense for him, but unfortunately, we're not. It was an older game, so there's only 2 endings.
Yeah.
But I think the implication was definitely there with him joining you for the fight. He's the only one who can join you for the last fight. That's true. All right, but yeah, that's fucking Solaire. I mean, he's just one of my favorite NPCs. He's just I don't really, the lore stuff is very cool, but also he's just a nice guy, and also praise the sun.
Does he ever come back, or is he just in one?
Okay, so that's kind of hard to say. Like he says in this one, which is like one of the main things you have to remember of the Dark Souls series, even in just Dark Souls 1, time is very convoluted in this world. Like, the things that happen may be taking thousands of years or hundreds.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just adding to that. It's like it could be hundreds of years apart or 1,000. It could be like a few. It's hard to say.
Mm-hmm. And there are different worlds too. So, is there different iterations of Solaire in the other games? Maybe. Like I said, we'll get to them maybe one day, years from now. Okay. Oh my god, Discord compression sucks. Well, there should be one there that says Artorias.
The Legend of Artorias, the Abyss Walker?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright.
After the advent of fire, 3 powerful souls were claimed by those who came from the dark. The first was claimed by Nito, first of the dead. The second went to the witch who fell to the flame. And the last went to Gwyn, Lord of Sunlight. But there was a 4th soul, discovered afterward and hidden from the lords, the Dark Soul. And so, the first human was furtive, and kept his soul a secret. Lord Gwyn used his Lord Soul to usher in an age of fire and light, appointing 4 trusted knights to defend the realm. There was Dragonslayer Ornstein, captain of the guard; Hawkeye Goth, unmatched with a great bow; Kiaran the assassin, who laid waste to Gwyn's enemies.
This is the NPC we missed.
And Artorias, the Abyss Walker. But in time, the flame began to fade. The age of the lords was ending, and the dark age of men was to begin.
The 4 kings were powerful men, only their hearts were weak. When an evil serpent dangled the art of life drain before them, they were unable to resist and became pawns of evil.
The serpent in question was Darkstalker Karth, who tempted the kings with the ability to drain humanity as a reward for their service. This is the art of life drain. Karth's ultimate goal seems to be to return all humanity to the Abyss, as every fragment of humanity is a piece of the mighty Dark Soul. The Knights of New Londo were transformed into Dark Wraiths.
That one art we just saw
the citizens of the city
looked like a puzzle.
For humanity, so that it may be returned to the Abyss.
The dark wraiths are the enemy of man, and any living thing that has a soul. They were born in New Londo, and that is where they perished. The entire city was sacrificed to contain them, for that is how great a threat they were.
Oh shit. He's got the Great Club.
Excellent.
He knows how to play a video game.
As the first flame continues to fade, and with the darkness looming, the deities of Anor Londo begin to leave the doomed kingdom. Meanwhile, the Abyss breaks out again, this time in Ulasil. With time running out, Lord Gwyn's final command is for Artorias to halt the inevitable spread of the Abyss and to rescue Princess Dusk. An old man afraid of the dark, Lord Gwyn kindles the first flame with his own soul, artificially extending his age of fire. And so, hundreds of years before the birth of the chosen undead, Knight Artorias and Sif meet the threat building in Ulyssil. However, they do not succeed.
Knight Artorias came to stop this, but such a hero has nary a murmur of dark. Without doubt he will be swallowed by the abyss, overcome by its utter blackness. Indeed, the abyss may be unstoppable.
This may strike thine ear as somewhat peculiar, but long ago, in my homeland of Ulyssil, I was beset
What the fuck
by
is
a
that
creature
weapon?
from the abyss.
It's the
I would
washing
have
pole.
perished then, were
But
it
it's got,
not
like,
for
some
the
kind of spell on
great
it.
Knight Artorias. In truth,
It's the fucking
I
big
saw
ass
little
long
of what
katana.
transpired, for mine senses were already fled.
Stupidly long.
But
It's great.
even still, there was something about Artorias, a certain balance of the humors that quite perfectly fits your semblance. Heavens, could it be that?
So pause. So there she was talking literally about what I was saying, where she doesn't, I don't think we got that dialogue in the game, but she doesn't know, she still thinks Artorias saved her, because remember, she was on the ground, like, still, like, damaged after being captured by Manus and the Abyss. So she doesn't know that you saved her, and that's kind of how Artorias' legacy has been protected. She was barely conscious when you defeated him. So there's that moment where you go back to the present, and she's like, it was almost like you. And of course, that's how we know that the legend of Artorias has been kept up, but like by all these people to try to defend his honor still. And so she is like, he almost like had the same aura as you.
Interesting. So then, I mean, you're gonna say that it's there's no really exact time frame by the time he gets back from that place, right? So.
Well, Artorias never got back, remember? He lost to the Abyss, and he was there, and Ulyssil corrupted. That was happening in the past now. Because remember, Manus grabbed us and pulled us into the past to try to defeat us.
Oh, okay.
And so we're back, we got sent back to the past to where Artorias was.
Yep.
And we defeat him, and then we defeat Manus in the past. So the legend that propagates through the ages to the modern era is that Artorias was able to halt the spread of the Abyss. Because from their perspective, the Abyss just stopped, and we go back to the present. So the Abyss just stopped, and Artorias is missing, but they assume that he must have been successful in repelling the dark. Or repelling the Abyss, sorry, specifically. Remember, the Abyss is kind of like a corrupted form of the dark.
So where did they assume he went after he finishes the job?
I mean, they can assume that because remember, Sif is guarding his grave. They assume that Artorias died in the process.
Yeah,
of
he died
stopping
fighting. That he died holding it back, basically.
Yes, that is what they assume. But as we know, he sadly lost to the Abyss because it was too much, and then was corrupted by it. But the player, gets to maintain his honor. And that's why the DLC is such a cool thing, because we kind of did it a little bit out of order, but that's fine because we wanted to get the unique Sif cutscene. But if you play through the whole game, you just hear about Artorias from like a bunch of different NPCs, about how he repelled the dark. He was one of the greatest warriors of his age, you know. So when you finally get to fight him, what's up?
Little did they know that they were talking to him.
Yeah. I mean, you're the player character, so you have to be him, but Artorias is no slouch. They definitely say he's literally the best greatsword user in history. And remember, we fight a nerfed form of him, because he was left-handed and his left arm was crippled while fighting Manus. Now, we don't know how that fight went down. It could have been like some trickery used. There is one thing to note, is that Artorias gave up his shield in order to protect Sif. remember Sif was surrounded by like all the floating shadows, right? But there was like a circle of light around him. So Artorias gave his shield to protect the younger Sif, and he did not have his shield while he was fighting Manus. So that's considered like how he got injured and lost the fight to Manus, because he had to give up the shield and he didn't have any protection. Because remember, his arm is crippled. So it would seem that he accidentally took a blow that he would have been able to block with his shield, but he gave it up to protect his friend.
Ah, I see.
Probably will go more into that, but keep playing.
So, 'tis thou who rescueth me.
Beset by the abyss, the final act of Artorias was to protect his companion. He shielded Sif with the power of his great shield, for his arm was broken and he could no longer bear the burden. Soon after, the spread of the abyss was halted and the deeds of a human were accredited to Artorias, the hero who gave his life to repel the abyss. Within this glimpse of the abyss lies a tormented soul, a savior turned demon, hidden from the eyes of his lord and comrades. As if only for his soul to find peace at long last, a warrior came, a hero of a time long distant yet near. The warrior fought against Artorias, severing his bonds with the darkness so that his honor may remain intact. Living with the knowledge that his master saved him with his last uncorrupted breath, watching him become a husk, only capable of tormented screams. He keeps the ring of Artorias, knowing that many will try to traverse the abyss, and defends his master's grave. Imagine what he is feeling when you come to him years later for the Abyss Walker ring that debilitated his friend. He is trying to protect you. One of you will have to die, because Sif will not give you the covenant of Artorias willingly. Maybe in death, he can find his friend Artorias again.
Still kind of funny. My club covered up the entire thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that was funny.
Oh, covered up like half of it.
Okay.
All right. So we have, let's see. We have a couple we can check out if you'd like. There's a Big Hat Logan.
The Big Hat.
There's Nito. We can check out the Nito video or the Sisters of Chaos one. Just a Witch's Eyes list.
I can definitely watch one more because I am getting very tired.
And pick whichever one you're most interested in seeing.
All right, let me see.
There's also Onion Knight video. We didn't really do his storylines. So that's a good one.
Oh yeah. What about which ending is a good ending?
Sure, go ahead. I'm going to search up one more video. It's going to be a short one, but it's just a funny video, so don't worry about it.
Most AAA titles these days are pretty predictable. You have the hero, the villain, the polite dialogue choice, the rude dialogue choice, the bad guys, the good guys, and all the meaningless choices along the way. If you're watching my videos, then you should already know that Dark Souls breaks the mold. Most games either have one canon ending or allow you to choose from a selection of moral minefield endings at the end of the game. Dark Souls is the latter, but the endings are ambiguous as hell. The more you learn about the game, the more confusing the endings become. Most games give you closure, but both Dark Souls endings probably leave you wondering what would happen next. What consequence would my choice have in the game world? The first ending we'll analyze is the Length of Fire ending. You sacrifice your body and soul as fuel for the first flame, which keeps the gods in power. We'll call this the Light ending. Your other choice is letting the flame die out, allowing you to become the Dark Lord and ushering in the Age of Man. Let's call this the Dark ending. Now, this video assumes you have some idea of what's going on in the Dark Souls universe. If you don't, I have a Dark Souls lore in a minute video you could watch, or you could brush up on the fundamentals presented by Epic Namebro. To properly understand the endings, you must understand what makes them significant. In the beginning, the 4 Lord Souls were found within the first flame. Gwyn obtained the Light Soul and ushered in an Age of Fire based around that first flame. This Age of Fire meant that the gods and the lords were in control of the world, ruling over humanity. They lit bonfires from the first flame and shepherded the humans. But where did the humans come from? Well, it's my theory that humanity is spawned from the fragments of the Dark Soul. As humanity split and grew, the dark began to overcome the light. This concept of disparity plays a huge role in the game. As the first flame faded, the light faded, and as the light faded, the power of Gwyn and the Age of Fire faded. As the gods started to lose their power, they began to recognize the threat that humanity could pose. It seems the gods couldn't decide what to make of humanity. In the dialogues of Kiaran and Goff, we see some of this uncertainty. If you aid them, they decide that humans aren't so bad after all. But if you slight them, then they treat you with that built-up resentment.
So this is true human nature.
The flame continues to fade. The gods abandon Anor Londo, and the remaining gods use illusions to preserve their power. Gwyn, holder of the Light Soul, goes to the kiln of the first flame and offers himself as fuel. He sacrifices himself to let the flame burn a little longer. This buys the gods a bit more time to find a solution to their problem. You are that solution. By linking the fire, you become the fuel for the first flame. With you in Gwyn's place, the Age of Fire can continue. But what makes you so special? Well, the character is a very powerful undead if they can make it all the way to Gwyn, and it follows that the more powerful you are, the longer you will burn. It could be that this is why Frampt is trying to push undead towards Gwyn. He is trying to find the one who will burn the longest. So by burning in Gwyn's place, you have to ask yourself what purpose it serves. You're preserving the reign of the gods and rising to the needs of a dying hierarchy. It's not even a temporary solution. Gwyn was powerful enough to take out the immortal dragons, and even he became a husk by the end. So while you could see linking the flame as a selfless act, it's hard to imagine that you're doing it for any greater purpose. Indeed, if you link the flame, you are rising to the needs of people who could simply be using you. So, is this the good ending? At first glance, it seems like it. Most players go through the game only meeting the serpent Frampt, who promises that linking the flame will undo the curse of the undead. He talks of fate and gives you purpose. So at first, I thought this was the right thing to do. I didn't know that Anor Londo and Guinevere were illusions. I didn't know I was being used, and I thought I was being selfless. But then I heard what Karth had to say. He says that after the advent of fire, the ancient lords found 3 souls, but your progenitor found the dark soul, and waited for fire to subside. He says that with the fading flame comes the age of man. He paints Gwyn as a god who resisted the course of nature, and says that you are being manipulated by Frampt to keep Gwyn's age of fire going. By killing Gwyn and walking away from the first flame, Karth promises that the dark will finally come, and with it, the age of man will begin. At first, I thought that Karth's hidden dialogue was the truth. It makes sense. When you realize that Frampt is manipulating you, you feel like you should believe everything Karth has to say. It seems like Karth is telling the whole truth. But is he telling the whole truth? Is the darkness really a place where humans can thrive? Humans are born from the dark soul, that much is true. The Black Humanity sprite is proof of that. But when we journey back to see what happened in Ulasil, we realize how dangerous the dark is to humans. Ulasil was once a human city, overrun by the dark. These are its residents, and this is the fate of the humans who come into contact with the dark. This is the age of man that Karth promises. One serpent tells you lies, and the other tells you truth. Both of them are manipulating you. If you link the fire, you are sacrificing yourself so that Frampt and Gwyndolin can rule with the illusion of power in Anor Londo. If you let the flame fade, the age of dark will come. But is this a place where humans thrive? No, Ulasil is proof of that. In the end, it doesn't matter what you do. If you link the flame, you're just delaying the inevitable. If you let the flame fade, the darkness comes a little sooner, with you at the helm. The one canon ending to Dark Souls is in the prologue. One day the flame will fade, and only dark will remain. So instead of choosing an ending, just go and live with Priscilla or something.
Understandable.
If only.
Alright,
If only.
we got one more video. It's like 3 minutes long, and it's not even like lore. Well, I guess it's community lore, because this is like the huge deal when it happened. It's just in the Discord.
Oh, yes. That's
All right,
true.
let's see this.
Based on just a very good build for the game, especially a good build for dealing with invaders. Put on, yeah, there you go.
vitality, 66 endurance, 12 movement, 16 fucking strength, 10 dexterity. But don't tell me when you level that up, you fucking put on casual. Giants, become unstoppable. What rings you got, bitch? Hippoframe.
What rings you got?
Stat, health, endurance. Everything you could ever want. Black flame. Bandit D+ midges. Father mask, the best living mask.
God, this is old already. I can tell.
Yes, sir.
Chaos two-hander and grass shield.
This is Zweihander.
Are you Korean? It's time to fucking pull some moves.
Oh, nudes.
Yes, sir. So this build in particular is extremely good against other PvPs because it was very fucking tough.
Multiplayer versus in these games are shenanigans.
How do you have that mask on? What does it do?
It's the giant. It's the dad mask. Remember the father mask? You picked it up.
The giant dad.
Oh yeah, but like
And
what?
it increases your equip load.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's more endurance or equip load. Yeah.
So these people are trying to cheese him with what were considered meta builds.
I got back up and he got fucking parried.
Shiva the deceased. Pop said that like 3 times while we were streaming.
We did kill him. You were indicted.
What does that mean? Fuck you.
You can get invaded for killing
Oh God, games for Windows?
Yeah, that was where this game originally came out on
Good
PC.
God.
But yeah, the build was posted like on a forum years ago. I want you to open it up and you'll see this video is 11 years old.
Yeah,
so Giant Dad is from before that. It was listed on some forum. And then, so this guy is like, he's back. And he just brought back the build and made this video. And it blew up Giant Dad. And this is only Afro, by the way. He does a lot of
Oh, it's
Dark
only
Souls videos.
Afro. That's right.
But yeah, it's just, I just had to show it to you because Pops made like 3 Giant Dad references.
Yeah,
like 3 different ones throughout the entire
work.
time we were streaming.
There's a couple of really funny ones. The Wall is another really funny one, although I think that might be in the later Souls games. But yeah,
it is.
The PvP stuff is like its own separate beast.
I'm gonna have to look up some PvP stuff to see what people were complaining about at the time. Sounds funny.
2 I think had really good PvP.
2 was definitely the best PvP, and it has some hilarious PvP videos.
Yeah.
But we can get into that whenever years from now, whenever we get to 2.
Yeah, and then Elden Ring, obviously.
Oh yeah, Elden Ring's the new hot shit. So, and everyone can now see. This is back when not everyone could edit. So this guy releases video, and they're like, "Legend made this whole video for us with his like fucking 480p
fucking Photoshop, whatever.
Photoshop, like fucking shit ass game record of these PvP matches." So it was definitely legendary. This is legendary. The Giant Dad build is legendary itself.
And there's also legacy shit. Like also, there's a hilarious fucking build in Demon Souls. Well, it's not really hilarious if it happens to you, but Demon Souls has a really notable one that's funny to talk about, the scraping spear, and I forget there's some other ability that we'll talk about another time.
Yeah, it's Demon Souls, but like literally, like I said, this has so many different Dark Souls memes. Like, what rings you got, bitch? I used to say that to my friend all the time. There's fucking don't level dicks or else you're you know. And then also the one that Pop said, Shiva the East, more like Shiva the Deceased. It's a classic, bro.
There's so much meta into these memes.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was a whole community, and like we said, it's not like pre-internet popularity, right? Like people were on the internet for years, but it was like
forum.
Games for Windows.
It was a community effort. Like even the story stuff and like just figuring out all the secrets in the game, like that was something that was like an effort, and it really made the game like blow up in popularity. Like that was part of the reason. Demon Souls, of course, started it, but Dark Souls is one where it really took off in that sense.
But how do you feel, Jan, now that you have a bit more context in the lore for the actual story stuff?
I think it's cool about the Artorias thing a lot, especially with the Solaire. I didn't know there was that much into Artorias specifically.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like he was a big, strong man, and then he lost. So I was like, well, that's crazy. Anywho.
No, he's trying to save the basically the whole era, you know, because the Abyss is taking over, and so he was sent to stop it, and it's tragic that he failed. But we get to defend his honor inadvertently by taking out Manus and returning to the present. I still wish you didn't have to kill Sif.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have been okay with there being an option to not fight him. But
yeah.
Oh well.
It's an older game.
Too bad. It's an older game, yeah. All right. I'm going to hop off, fellas.
All right. Thanks for joining, fellas.
Yeah, have a good night and have more fun with Ratchet and Clank 2 this week.
Hi there.
Oh.
Push.
Yes. All right, later.
Oh, Cass was late. Damn. Rip Cass, you missed the lore videos.
We were watching some lore videos. Got here just in time.
I'm sorry to hear that, Cass. All right, later, guys.
All right, later.
Nah, dudes.
Apologies, Cass. Yeah, we did some Ratchet and Clank, and then we watched the lore videos, and I'm a fan. How's the other law pick boom coming along? I was actually going to tell you earlier today. I forgot. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not going to make it up an excuse. I'm not going to say I didn't have time. This time, for sure, I legit just forgot. I'm not even going to lie. Okay, I'm gonna, oh, don't go. Wait, we're going to end anyway. But hold on. Before you leave, I'll also throw in something extra. I'll have this done tomorrow, and plus, this only happened once. You can select, you can have any kind of sound effect you want to be the boom sound effect. So you know how there's Angie? Yo, yeah, you can be whatever you want. What do you have in mind just off the top of your head, brother? Just think. Oh, you're gonna do your voice? Okay. No, honestly, if you want to put your own voice, that's fine. That doesn't bother me. Let me know. We can do that. For real though, you have like, I'll message you tomorrow. Yeah, you can just let me know by at most, I don't know, maybe like 6 p.m. tomorrow. Or even if you just want to do it before stream, I can add it in real fast. We'll be good. All right, fellas. Let me see. We'll go ahead and just raid Kumi. Thank you all for hopping in, hanging out with me and Ratchet and Clank, watching the lore videos, and I will see you guys again tomorrow at the same time. We'll do more Ratchet and Clank too.